Welcome back to MK Sews. I'm Emma. I live in Melbourne, Australia, and I love to sew and have creative days. I hope I inspire you to have a creative day as well. As you may or may not know, I've just come back from a trip to the UK and I'm going to tell you about it in today's video. While I was there, I visited quite a few fabric stores and craft stores, so I'd like to tell you a bit about the stores that I visited and my purchases. So if that interests you, I hope you watch today's video. All up, I was in the UK for about 2.5 weeks, so I got to explore quite a bit, but it was a family holiday, so I wasn't able to just go to fabric stores like I wanted. That would have been a fun trip if I could just go from fabric store to fabric store, but no. I had to do some things that my kids and my husband wanted to do as well. It wasn't all about fabric stores. We spent 7 nights in London and then 8 nights driving around some of the English countryside. So I'd like to tell you a bit about some shops that I visited that are in London and some that are outside of London in the countryside. I'll make sure that I put addresses and places that we visited on the screen. The first shop that I stopped in at was, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I think it's Shiacat Fabrics, but I could be completely wrong about how to pronounce the name. This store was absolutely beautiful. The top level had fabrics and cutting tables, but then there was a lower level, so I went down the stairs and had a look at all the beautiful fabric down there. I'm going to put some footage in that I took of the fabric in the store. There was so much to choose from and all of it was absolutely beautiful, lovely quality, and the staff were really, really nice. I did make one purchase at that shop. It's already been through the wash, so it might be a bit creased. I chose this fabric. And I just really loved the print. I'm pretty sure that the ladies at the shop said that this was a lawn. It feels super soft and it creases quite a bit as well. I'm not sure what I'm going to make with it, but I have 2.5 meters and I'm really looking forward to working out what I want to make. My husband wanted to take the boys to Bletchley Park. I found that it wasn't very far from Milton Keynes, so I went into Milton Keynes, and while I was in Milton Keynes, I visited Neil's Fabrics. I had a lovely time looking through Neil's Fabrics and talking to the lady that I met there who was working. They had a huge range of fabrics. It was hard to pick, but I did pick a couple of really nice fabrics. So this was the first one that I chose. I picked this one up with So Fruity in mind, but it will have to wait till next year because I've got a few other things on my list. I do recommend that you join in that challenge if you have time. This is a viscose, so that's that one. The next fabric I picked up is also a viscose, but it's this one. This is coming up darker on the screen, but it's more like a washed out black. I think this will be really good. It's like a smoky black, I guess. Yeah, I don't wear a lot of black, so I thought this is something a little bit different to add to my wardrobe. All the fabrics that I bought, I don't really have patterns in mind for, so if you have any suggestions of what you think I should make with them, please let me know in the comments. So this was my second purchase from Neil's Fabrics, and then I did make a third purchase from Neil's Fabrics. I bought 3 fabrics at this store because their prices were really good. I obviously am spending Australian dollars, so pretty much it's just over double the pounds when you do the conversions. These fabrics were quite reasonable for what they were in comparison to what I pay here in Australia, so that's why I was happy to buy 3 fabrics from this store. The last fabric is this one, and it's a knit. It doesn't have much stretch, so it will probably become a cardigan of some kind. This was the third fabric I chose. It's really soft. That really caught my attention. So that was the third fabric I picked up. The next store I had to visit in London was Liberty. I sent the kids around the corner to Hamley's toy shop. And if you don't know what Hamley's toy shop is, it's got 7 or 8 levels of toys. So they were in heaven, and so was I, because I went to Liberty. They had all Liberty fabrics. They had this whole haberdashery section. Everything was absolutely beautiful. I wanted to buy a lot of things, but I settled for buying one thing at Liberty, and don't think you'd be able to get this anywhere but Liberty. So I'll just show you what it is. It's a Liberty iron-on patch. I was pretty pleased with that. This was the first patch I purchased while I was away. I did purchase a couple of others while I was away, and I'll show you them as we get to talking about those stores. But I have a vision of what I'm going to hopefully do with them. So later this year, I'll have a video about how I'm going to use the patches. I had quite a number of other fabric stores on my list to visit while we were in London, but I just ran out of time. On the last day, I managed to talk the boys into taking me to Stitch. Stitch was a really nice store as well. They had an upstairs and a downstairs. They had quite a large pattern and book selection, quite a reasonable sized fabric selection as well. They had heaps of haberdashery, lots and lots of things to look at. I had a ball in there looking around, but I walked away with 3 things. Something that I have been wanting probably since last year. I really wanted it, but I kept talking myself out of this thing. So when I saw it, I had to pick it up, and that is this pattern. It is the West Cliff dress. When I saw this, I decided it was meant to be. My next purchase was the Friday Pattern Company Saguaro set. I don't wear a lot of wide leg pants, but I really like how this pattern looks on a lot of other people. So I'm interested to give this one a go. And the last item I bought at Stitch was this patch. Once I'd been to Liberty and I decided that I was going to use that patch for this particular project that I have in mind, I decided that if I saw any more patches that I liked during the trip, that I would buy them. And I thought I could not walk away without this sewing machine. So that was the last item I picked up. After leaving London, we started our journey around the English countryside. On the second day of the trip, I was meeting someone special in Lamington Spa. So I got the boys to drop me in Lamington Spa, and I sent them off to the British Motor Museum, which was close by. And before I met up with this special someone, I went into Carolyn Fabrics, and that is a really pretty store. The staff there were absolutely lovely. We had a really nice conversation. The fabrics there were absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I'm really glad I went to have a look at that store, and I didn't walk away empty-handed. I bought myself this fabric. This is a viscose. I actually really love this one. I think the blue in it is really nice and bright, and I can't wait to work out what I want to make with this one. I think I have about 3 meters, and I finished the bolt, so unfortunately, unless they got more in, you can't get any more of this. I got the last of it. That's where I started my day in Lamington Spa. Then I went off to meet someone. If you've seen her videos, you know who that is. I met up with Sam from So Let's Sparkle with Sam, and she showed me around her really beautiful town, and we chatted, and it was really good. She did gift me this really gorgeous zip pouch, which actually came in super handy for all the little items I bought, like the patches and the other little things that I'll show you later that I bought went into this pouch and didn't get lost in our luggage. So I'm really happy about that. She also gave me a couple of So Let's Sparkle stickers. Yeah, so she made me that, which was a really kind thing to do. And she said that she made it for me so that I could easily pack it because it squishes. It came in more handy than that because I filled it up. I filled it up with things, so thanks, Sam. I'm going to just pause here because I also made her a few things. I made her a teapot. It's intended to be a pincushion, and I used a pattern by Jodie from Rick Rack. I'll put a link to the pattern I used down in the description below. It's a really easy pattern to follow. I hope Sam enjoys using that. I also made her 2 resin pendants, which can be switched out on the chain. And I also made a resin keyring, and inside the resin I put some space stickers. And then I gave her the rest of the stickers that I didn't end up using for her jewellery. I also gave her a space themed notebook. I think that's all that I put in her gift. I hope she enjoys using her gift from me because I had a lot of fun making it for her. So back to the story. We went for a little walk around Lamington Spa. We went into another fabric shop. I didn't find anything there that really tickled my fancy. We did go into a little store called Berry Loon. I hope that's how you pronounce it. And I did buy something there. I bought this patch. So I've decided this is my Lamington Spa panda and it will always remind me of Lamington Spa and my time with Sam. That was my last purchase in Lamington Spa. I had a great day with Sam and I kind of wish we lived closer so that we could spend more time together. It's really nice spending time with such a lovely person. So after Lamington Spa we drove into Kenilworth because I wanted to take the boys to Warwick Castle, and we did go and see Kenilworth Castle as well. I think the boys thought that they were the best two castles we saw that entire trip. While we were in Kenilworth I stopped into Karen Delahuntley's store and did a little bit of shopping there. I think she had more quilting type fabrics, wools and lots of haberdashery. I did buy a couple of things there. This trim, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I thought it was really pretty and I liked the colours. I also bought some cute little heart buttons. I just thought they were super sweet. I bought 8. And then the last purchase I made from that shop was this. A really cute little ball of yarn. I really liked the colours in there. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it, but I do like to crochet sometimes, so hopefully I can work out something to make myself with this. After Kenilworth we drove down to stay in Sirenest, and along the way we stopped in some of those really gorgeous little towns like Burton on the Water. We had beautiful weather, and we had beautiful weather the entire trip. It was sunny, not like the England I've ever been to before. It only rained, like all day raining, one day out of all the days we were there. It did spit a few other days, and there was a couple of other days where I needed to wear a coat, but for the majority of the trip it was absolutely beautiful weather. We spent some time in Sirenest. I did stop into the Sirenest Hobbycraft, and I feel bad for the people who live in Sirenest because that Hobbycraft was closing down. They had closing down sales. I only walked away with a couple of things, but I did spend quite a long time in there just looking. The fabric hadn't been reduced that much. I did see some fabric that I wanted. I'll pop a picture up for you to see because I did take a photo of it, but it wasn't reduced enough. When you converted what their price was into Australian dollars, it just didn't make sense to buy it. I can buy fabric here that's probably similar, so I didn't purchase the fabric, but I did purchase these cute little flower buttons in 2 colours. So this is the other colour. There's 4 buttons in each packet. I thought if I use them together on a cardigan or a dress or something, I can alternate and I'll have enough buttons because I have 8 of them. This one looks quite red on camera, but it's actually like a dark pink, and the other one is a light pink. And then the other thing I got was this. Stitch markers, but I'm actually considering taking a couple off the hooks and turning them into earrings. I'll probably keep some of them as stitch markers or zip pulls or something like that, but I might take a couple off and turn them into cute little sewing themed earrings. The boys let me stop in at Cutting Edge Fabrics, and this store was packed. It had so much fabric, so much haberdashery, it had so much to look at. The displays were beautiful. I did make a small purchase. The first thing I bought was this, and then the second one I purchased was this. I just really liked the feather, I liked the colours, and that's why I picked that one, and I think the spool is self-explanatory about why I picked that one up. 2 more stores to go. The next store is in Wokingham, and it was called Stitchery Do. It was a beautiful store, beautifully curated. They had things that had obviously been crafted by people in the area for sale, as well as fabrics, wool, haberdashery, tools, books, patterns. I did have to take a couple of loops around the store because there was so much stuff to look at. I was a little bit overwhelmed. I just bought one thing. I bought some little rosy cheeks labels that just say perfectly imperfect. And then the last store that I visited was in Slough. On Google it was called Textile Station, but on the card that they gave me it's called I Need Fabrics. The people working there were lovely. It was in an industrial area. You had to walk up these small stairs, and I just felt like I was perhaps in the wrong place. But as soon as I walked into the store, there was fabrics, and I knew this would be the last store that I got to go to because we were going to be leaving the UK the next day. We were going to be spending the last bit of our trip at Legoland for the kids. That was a whole experience in itself. I knew that I wasn't going to be purchasing anything after this, so I did buy one last piece of fabric, but this is the first piece of jersey fabric that I bought the whole trip. It's a viscose jersey, I'm pretty sure. I thought it was like super cute. I'm pretty sure they have a website, so put that on the screen again. They must have more on their website than I can even show in the video footage that I put in. It says on their card that they have over 1 million meters of fabric in stock, so quite a lot. So yeah, so that was my fabric store tour of the UK. There was a bunch of places that I wanted to go, but I couldn't make it work. We weren't in the area when the stores were open or they were closed. Oh, I even went to one store one day, and I'd seen on Google when I'd been planning the trip that there was a store in this town. It was Banbury, and I went to the store and it had closed down. We went to Banbury for me to go to this store, and it wasn't there. So my husband took a photo of me with the closed sign and the empty store behind me, so I'll pop that in for you to enjoy. Apart from fabric stores, I also did quite a bit of op shopping. I bought a number of sewing patterns at op shops. I also bought this rickrack at an op shop. Also went to a couple of second-hand book stores, and I bought a couple of books there as well. The other thing that I wanted to purchase while we were in the UK was some sewing magazines. We just don't have those sewing magazines here anymore. They used to be available at the newsagents and stuff here, but I haven't seen sewing magazines at a newsagent near me in a really, really long time. And I had to message Alison from Sew Like Dotty, and I asked her where in the UK do you go to buy magazines, because when we were in London I just hadn't seen any newsagents, and she's like, look for a store that's WH Smith. So I went and I found one in Selfridges. That was my first magazine purchase, and then in Lamington Spa with Sam I did buy another couple of magazines as well. But that's it. That was my trip. I thought you might be interested in knowing what was my favourite attraction in London, and it was Tower Bridge. I really enjoyed going up inside, the views, and Warwick Castle, which I already mentioned, and Kenilworth Castle, which I also already mentioned, and the boys really liked the Beaconscott Model Village. That was pretty cool. The other highlights of the trip were going to Regent's Theatre, which is an open air theatre in Regent's Park, and we saw a musical comedy called Shucked, which is all about corn. That was my favourite musical. We also saw Back to the Future, which the boys really liked. We had an awesome holiday. None of us really wanted to come home, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed hearing about my trip. Let me know in the comments what you think I should make with the fabrics that I've purchased. But that's it from me. I hope you have a creative day, and I'll see you next time. Bye! So, yeah. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but something. What was it called?